I missed. 2, 3. If you mute the bass, the kick, isn't this low end thing? It's actually solo. There's one patch. Cool, huh? So hello, welcome to a new plugin groove video. My name is John Skippy Limcool. It's been a while. I know, it's been a while. I've missed all of you guys. I'll give you a brief rundown of what's been happening in a second. Let me tell you why this video is happening. It's Valentine's Day, and I love my customers, and so I try to do something as a freebie for my customers on Valentine's Day. It's just the way it is around here. It's important to me to support you guys. So I've done actually 2 things today that I've released for free that I've created over the last couple of months. One is I released an earlier version, but this is the full version. There's 60 patches and multis for Omnisphere 2. It's a download if you own MegaMagic Guitars Volume 1 or 2, but you have to have both. It's available as a download from both. If you go to my website and you log in and you hit your My Account, I own all the libraries. I turned them all on so they're all here for me to check out and review. But when you get to the guitars, there's 2 different bonuses for Volume 1. I should call it Volume 1, shouldn't I? Call it Part 1. But there's the full library. There's bonus, which right here is, because Part 1 is the 6 samples across the keyboard to make a multi. The bonus is each one of those samples across the whole keyboard as a single patch. And there's like 130 patches there. And then right here, the V12 bonus. The V12 stands for, this is using Volume 1 and 2. So I convinced it to be Volume 12 for Volume 1 and 2 together. And there's all these patches. There's a whole bunch of multis, some really cool stuff. I'll cover that in just a minute. The other thing I included in this Valentine's Day bonanza is a whole bunch of free MIDI file drum loops right here. There's 50 that are all sorts of different styles from pop, and you'll see some popular names to popular songs, which kind of ties into what library I'm working on for the end of the month. Percussion, jazz. Some people asked for jazz, so I did some jazz grooves, stuff like that, which is really cool. Hip hop and trap. And I just want to really quickly cover how to install these really quick, because I always get email from customers that get this and go, I'm not sure how to do this. The download for Omnisphere is actually just a 1 megabyte. The libraries themselves is like a 1 gigabyte download, right? But the patches are very small, and it's a 1 megabyte download to get these guitar presets right here. There's a README that you can carefully read that has the instructions on where to put these things, but I'm going to show you at the same time right here. Here is the Omnisphere Steam folder. So my location, where mine is at, is Steam, Omnisphere, Settings, Library, and then here. And if you can't find it, it's really easy to find by just going over here, hitting this logo, hitting Diagnostics, and it'll take it a minute to do a quick check and add up all the patches and all the multis and everything. And then it'll tell you right here where the Steam folder is that it is looking at. So that's the fastest way to know where you need to look on your computer to find your Steam folder. Once you've done that, all you have to do is go to your Steam folder, open it up to the page where it's got the multis and the patches. And as you can see, I have multis and patches here. So you open up multis and you go multis here. And then you drag this folder that's in the multis folder to here. And then you can close this and you go to the patches folder and you take this patches folder and you drag it to right here in the patches folder. They have to go in the right locations. Restart Omnisphere. If you need to, you can go to the patch browser and hit the little refresh button right there. And the multis, you'll also want to go up here and hit the refresh button right here. That will cause it to do a redo of the database of patches to make sure it's got everything up to date and current. The drums, to get these to show up over here under the Grooves player so that you can just select them and say select and play. As my dog starts to bark. Right? Chain to the rhythm. Cheap drills. Have to play them at the right tempo too, of course. But there's the MIDI files. Now, how to get those to show up? It's pretty easy. You have to find this one particular folder. Usually it's in the documents or the user files on your PC. And then you go to Native Instruments and you have all these different folders. Open up Contact 5 MIDI files. And inside of here is where you will put this folder. Just in this case, you can actually just go dragging this whole thing into here. And then they can show up so that you can have access to this directory here, a subdirectory, and then load these up, and now you got jazz. All right, so that's how you access them to load the MIDI files. Let me show you real quickly some of the patches inside of the Omnisphere library. So let's go initialize the multi. Yeah, it's been a while. It has been a while. I was sick after Christmas and New Year's for a while. I went to the NAMM show. This was year 28 of me being a part of the NAMM show, either going or there was a period of time where I worked like 14 years in a row. But it's great to go see. I have many friends at this point after so many years of working it and being a part of the industry. So it was a really great show. And then after that, my daughter got done with her semester of schooling, and her best friend invited her to Maui. And so we went to Maui and had a really nice time. Snorkeled, we watched whales kick and swim around in the water, we snorkeled. We stayed in the high country, which I hadn't stayed before, up on the side of the mountain itself. It's great. It's a great trip. And then I needed to get these libraries done by Valentine's Day. So I haven't had time to make a video. So this is the first time to make a video in a while. And so that's why. It's been 3 weeks or so. Just, first of the year, lots been going on. But it's good to be back. Good to be back. We have a lot to cover. There's a lot of cool things happening. But I want to show you. So here's all the patches. There's some really cool basses. And it's called V12 because layer 1, or A, this is using MIDI Guitars Volume 2, and this is Volume 1 for the layer B. So if you hear A and B, the two together, it's made a really, really cool acoustic bass. There's that, there's topsy-turvy. Now, I'll tell you right now, I get questions quite often because I've converted this library to Contact 5. And it's a good library in Contact. It came out really cool. And people say, what version should we get? Should I get the Omnisphere version or should I get the Contact 5 version? And without a doubt, if you're only going to get one and you have both plugins, get the Omnisphere version. Because the effects... That's the effects, man. Then I did a wah with this. These effects are cutting edge, amazing, cool. This bass man is just a wonderful effect. If you get down here to some of these, let's see, like Linebacker, this is using Metal Zone into the Sans amp into the Marshall type of just kick butt distorted guitars. And if you look at the effects inside of Contact 5, they're the same effects that are in FM8, which have been around like 12 years, 10 years, haven't been updated. They've got Guitar Rig with all those killer effects as a separate plugin, and they've never put any of that stuff into Contact 5, which just kind of surprises me. But because of the effects, the patches themselves, they're cool both directions, but the distortion effects and the cabinet effects and the overall, just the concept, you can have 16 different effects that can have real-time controls happening in Omnisphere, give it a clear edge in being just clear edge without a doubt. That helps too, to have it be able to sound like that. Be my funk. Delightful grunge. This is actually made by Kid Anthem. I hired, it's a free library, but I still paid these guys some money to make patches to enhance this library to be bigger than just me making patches. I like having other people's take on things. So I wouldn't have made this, but Kid Anthem did, and it's cool. That's so cool. And I probably wouldn't have thought of doing it. So love me, hate me. So there's all sorts of stuff like that. There's just usable stuff, elementary. This is from Tim Dale. His Sabersphere libraries are incredible. He did Omni X, which is this really cool analog retro BPM stuff. So he did some great things. Energy Strum. This will kill your computer, so be careful. Fun of the, what's this called? Fun of the Fair. So it keeps going. Impending Storm. Very cool. Linebacker I showed you earlier. And you take any of these effects out. That's the effects underneath. Just insane. Martin's Quest. Very cool. There's other things to play. Mellow. These are chords. I'm not going to play every one, but you get the idea. Now, Nightlight, we did this in a live stream. I do live streams every Saturday, by the way. Tomorrow's my first live stream to the Ukraine and to Russia. I'm working with someone to do live interviews, talk about synthesizer programming in Russia. I can't wait. All sorts of fun things are going on. But that one was made actually... is based on one I made for Contact, because the cool thing with Contact is you could layer multiple samples and change sample start points in making one patch. And you can't do that to the same level as you can in Omnis here. So it required 2 patches. So those 2 patches layered together make this multi. Okay. So that's where that comes from. Let's see, cancel. Hey, the kid's home from school. Yay. So this is Crushing Gems. I made 3 different ballad guitars. And this is using a combination of a guitar from Volume 2 and Volume 1. Best of Both Worlds. Kind of getting, I mean, the library has Volume 2, especially the distorted guitars and the jazz guitars and stuff. Here's Gritty Jazz. Little distorted. Kind of cool. Mellow Softy, Showdown in Shanghai. Silver City's Because the MegaMagic 2 processing that I did to the Volume 1 guitars, that has the pitch shifter in the reverb. So gave us some more complex harmonic frequencies to play with in making patches. Snappy Synthy Buzzy. Bellowa. Here's without it. It's using Strat Rocker and the Nylon Aria. It's pretty crazy. There's some cool drones. Kid Anthem, he's got a library coming out in the future. A one-note, just unbelievable droney thing. So these are kind of some things in that direction. Vala drone. So cool. So far away yet so near. Okay. Textures. This is from guitar samples. Really cool stuff. Even a keyboard kind of a thing. And Orbit of Jupiter. And then we have multis. And these I really can't play while making a video because they will take the computer down, because the BPM ones are using arpeggiators and so forth. They're really cool. Freedom Trek. Really cool stuff. Wrongfully Returned. Jason Chopra did some of these that are really cool. Alright, there's the BPM. I just gotta be really careful with playing these because it will completely blow up my computer if I don't play the right things. Bass and Dreamy Pad. Just a simple split, see? Because you can do that kind of stuff very easily. Okay, so these are free. So if you own Volume 1 and 2 of MegaMagic guitars, which are these libraries right here, if you own those libraries, this will be available in your download area for free to download and install and have 60 more patches which use Volume 1 and 2 together. The idea was that these were two different libraries that I had to kind of keep in their own separate bubbles when I made them. I couldn't like reach out and use stuff from the other library. But now that they're both out, I can and make a free support library. So for those of you that own the two, the MIDI files are pretty self-explanatory. I would suggest this. Make sure that you can do them in two ways. You can use the groove player here, right? And you can select it and hit play and it'll start playing. But it's more fun to go over here to the MIDI file button and drag it over to your sequencer. And that way you can have it in your sequencer. And now you can go to the kits and play around. So you can play with it and change kits if it's a MIDI file in your sequencer. If it's over here where you load it up and you have it play, that's cool. But now as soon as you change kits, it goes away and you have to go back over here and double click it again and it will play. Just a different way of working. But here's all these new grooves to play with. So have fun, enjoy those. Coming up next is a library I'm working on called Radio Ready. And that will be done probably, I'm aiming at the 24th of February. And get ready for target programming, because that's what that's about, is being inspired by a patch and trying to get really close to sounding very similar to that patch with a certain synthesizer. And that's something that I do a lot of in my voicing work, which is different than the just playing around and changing parameters until you find something interesting and being more of a creative programmer. Target is a different approach. So that's coming at the end of this month, and it's coming out really cool. So lots to talk about soon. So we'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Happy Valentine's Day.